Hola estudiantes, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? So I wanted to just give you an extra explanation about this week topics, specifically the grammar, because I know that grammar it's a little bit challenging. Okay, keep in mind that you have to read when it's grammar. You have to read several times the rules, okay? And then practice and practice and practice and practice, okay? Now, it's extremely important that you start identifying nouns in Spanish. And nouns are things, people, animals, right? The things that you see, that you're able to touch, ¿verdad? And see, take a look around in the room that you're now, take a look around, and all those things that you see, those are nouns, okay? Of course, we have some nouns that are abstracts, but for now, we're going to pay attention to the things that we see, okay? Baby steps, okay? Bien, so, in Spanish, we organize those nouns in two groups, either femenino or masculino, okay? Everything for us is either masculino or femenino, okay? And also, before the noun, we have an article, okay? And that article has to agree with the noun. So if my noun is feminine, for example, you see the phone, a phone, ¿verdad? Then, teléfono, ¿verdad? Teléfono celular. In front of teléfono celular, we are going to see the article. And teléfono, because of the ending, is ending with an O, it's masculine. My article has to be masculine. So it will be el teléfono. Everything has to agree. If I change in terms of number, okay, if the noun changes in terms of number, then my article has to agree too. So it will be los teléfonos, okay? Now, when we see an item that is ending with A, usually it's feminine. When we see an item that is ending with O, usually is masculine. There are some exceptions. So we are going to start paying attention to the exceptions too, because the general rule says femenino A, masculino O, but then the exceptions, okay? Bien. For example, if we are using a noun to identify a person, of course, it's going to agree in terms of gender. For example, hombre, okay? Hombre, el hombre is masculine. Here we don't have the O, and that's the rule, okay? Mujer, again, it's, you see, now, not all the time you're going to see a noun that is ending with O or A for both cases, okay? Bien. The general rule says that when we have words that are ending with ma, right? Usually they are masculine, even though that they are ending with A. But in this case, it's MA. So, for example, we are going to start seeing programa, poema, a poem, ¿verdad? Poema, programa, and those are ending with MA, and those are masculine. Of course, we have mama, which is mother, and that doesn't apply, okay? That one doesn't apply. Also, those words that are intended for people and they're ending with ista, they're going to stay the same for both. Is turista, ¿verdad? Turista for masculine and for feminine, okay? Bien. So that's basically what we're going to start seeing on page 13, right? The endings in ma, the endings in sion, and sion with an S also. Those are feminine. And usually words that are ending with S are masculine, but usually, remember, there are always exceptions, okay? And that, those that are ending with in that, they are going to be feminine. My suggestion is when you learn the vocabulary at the end of the chapter. Let's see. Now, let me go to chapter 2 so then we can go exactly. It's right here. Take a look over here where you see that it says sustantivos. Go to the end of the chapter, okay? And then learn the noun with the article. Get your flashcards, and once you start learning nouns, include the article. So then you're learning several things at once, okay? At that moment. For example, autobús, instead of paying a lot of attention to the rule, which is good, start paying attention to the vocabulary, okay? And then reinforce the vocabulary with the rule, okay? Bien. El chico, la chica, la computadora, la comunidad, etcétera, 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 okay? And for example, here you see la mano. You're going to start learning some exceptions. And el mapa, another exception, ¿verdad? El problema, el programa, they're ending with a, but remember what I said. It's not, in this case, it's not only a, it's ma, ma, okay? Bien. So again, my suggestion is memorize the list of the nouns along with the articles, okay? Bien. And then let's see what else we have for this. We have the numbers, okay? We have the numbers. So we have numbers from 0 to 30, okay? And it's important that you listen to the pronunciation, okay? How to pronounce them. Pay attention to uno, okay? Uno means one, okay? Now, if you're talking about something, and again, that something is a noun, un sustantivo. For example, a phone, ¿verdad? You're talking about the phone, and you want to say a phone, then you're going to say un teléfono, un teléfono. If I ask you how many phones do you have, then you can say uno, because you're just mentioning the number. Now, if you want to add in your answer the noun, in this case, teléfono, then we have to modify the uno, okay? And it becomes un teléfono. Instead of uno teléfono, because that doesn't make sense, we're going to say un teléfono, okay? Un teléfono. Una profesora. Un estudiante, okay? Bien. The same thing with 21, ¿verdad? 21. 21 teléfonos, okay? And what else? I think the most important thing in this list is I, okay? I, H-A-Y, I. I means there is, there are, both, okay? Both. There is, there are. ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay? So that is the question here. ¿Cuántos estudiantes hay? And then If I want to answer, I, there are, ¿verdad? Blah, 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 blah. Okay? Bien. I hope that this is pretty clear to you. And then, of course, the present tense of ser. Ser is what we call a verb. Okay? Un verbo. Ser. To be or not to be. Okay? So every time that you want to talk about who you are, ¿verdad? For example, you want to mention your name, you're going to use the verb ser. But guess what? The verb has to be modified. And that's the same thing that you do in English. The thing is that you don't realize that. Okay? In English, the verb is to be. Okay? To be. And then when you are saying your name, you don't say I to be. You say I am. Meaning that you are conjugating the verb. Okay? You are basically expressing, in this case, it's not an action, it's a state. Okay? Bien. So in español, we are going to say yo soy. Yo soy. I am. Pay attention. Not all the time we are going to be using I am, because English and Spanish, they have different rules. So now you have to pay a lot of attention to when to use the verb ser. Okay? When to use the verb ser. So first, you're going to use this verb to say your name, to say, for example, your occupation. Yo soy una estudiante. Yo soy Marilyn. Yo soy una estudiante. Okay? Do not use the verb to express your age. Okay? It's not allowed. That's the rule. Okay? In English, you're going to say, I am 20 years old. Yes, I wish. But in Spanish, we are not going to use the verb ser to express our age. Okay? I'm going to save that for later. Bien. So, also, we are going to use the verb to express our origin and our nationality. Por ejemplo, yo soy Marilyn, yo soy estudiante, yo soy de, now that's origin, yo soy de Puerto Rico, ¿sí? Yo soy puertorriqueña, nationality and origin, okay? Bien. So, I like to give you some tools for you to recall information quickly. And I always tell my students, make connections with things that you already know. For example, if you go to a Chinese restaurant or a Japanese restaurant, you are going to be familiar with the soy sauce. Well, make connection with the soy sauce. Because every time you use yo and soy, you're expressing I am. Okay? Now, yo means I. Okay? And then you is tú. And then usted is the formal approach. Él, ella, feminine, masculine. And then nosotros, we are in a group. Nosotras, a group that is only feminine, and I'm included. I'm a female too, and I'm included. Okay? Vosotros, vosotras, that's the informal way to say you all. Okay? You all. And it's mainly used in Spain. Okay? And in America Latina, we don't use vosotros or vosotras. We use ustedes. You all. Ustedes. You. Okay? You all. And then ellos, ellas, feminine, masculine, plural. See? Now, here, again, let's go back to the yo soy. Yo soy Marilyn, to say your name. Yo soy estudiante. to express your occupation. Yo soy de Puerto Rico, to express nationality. Yo soy puertorriqueña, to express I'm sorry, to express nationality, origin, yo soy de Puerto Rico, and nationality, yo soy puertorriqueña. Now, in your case, if you are from the United States, you're going to say, yo soy de Estados Unidos. Yo soy de Estados Unidos. Yo soy estadounidense. I know it's challenging. Estadounidense, but you can do it, okay? Estadounidense. Because remember, when you say americano, americana, that means I'm from the continent, the whole continent, okay? And the continent starts with Canada, and it ends at the bottom with Chile, okay? And Argentina, La Patagonia, okay? That's the whole continent. And if you say americano, you're from the continent, okay? But you want to say the country, Estados Unidos, okay? Bien. And then, yo soy, tú eres. Remember, this is very important. And once you master how to conjugate verbs, basically you're good to go, okay? A ver. In Spanish, we conjugate all the verbs. In English, you do too, but not as much as in Spanish, okay? A ver, it's not done as much as in Spanish. A ver, por ejemplo, tú eres, él, ella o usted es. Y es. Nosotros somos, ustedes son. I use the formal, and then the informal. Vosotros sois. Remember that in America Latina, we use ustedes, and in Spain, they use vosotros, okay? And what is the difference? Well, one is informal, one is formal, but we use it only in the singular form, okay? For example, tú eres, and then él es, usted es, okay? A ver. And of course, we can start asking questions like, ¿quién es? Who, ¿verdad? Who is he? ¿Quién es él? ¿Qué es? What is it? ¿Verdad? ¿Quién? ¿Qué? ¿Sí? Bien. Also, we can express possession with the verb ser. ¿De quién es? ¿De quién es? Es de María. Okay? Es de María. Bien. So, I think that this is all for now. Let's move on to the last part, which is telling the time. Now, to express the time, we are going to use the verb ser, okay? And we are going to use the third conjugation, meaning es, okay? Es for singular and son for plural. And of course, the singular is 1 o'clock. And then after 1, 2 from 2 to 12, then you are going to use the plural. Okay? Now, the traditional question, ¿qué hora es? What time is it? ¿Qué hora es? Son, because it's plural, son las 3 de la tarde. Son las 3:30. Media means half, okay? 3:30. Son las 3:15. So cuarto means a quarter, okay? We divide the circle in 4 pieces, okay? And then a quarter, y cuarto, okay? And then if it's 3:45, what we do is we move on to the next hour, in this case 4, and then we eliminate the quarter, and then we say son las 4 menos cuarto. Son las 4 menos cuarto, minus a quarter. So within 15 minutes, within a quarter of an hour, it's going to be 4 o'clock. So that's basically what we're saying, okay? And those are the Spanish expressions, ¿sí? Bien, remember, son las 2, son las 3, son las 4, etc. Es la 1, and then es la 1:30, es la 1:15, son las 2 menos cuarto, minus a quarter, ¿sí? Bien, and then if I want to ask at what time is the class, then that's supposed to be a different question. So I'm going to use different tools, and I'm going to start with a, letter A, okay? ¿A qué hora es? And then I'm going to finish with la clase de español. Por ejemplo, ¿a qué hora es la clase de español? At what time is the class, the Spanish class? ¿A qué hora es la clase de español? Now, when I reply to a question like that, I'm going to say, la clase de español es. So the class is. And then, a las 3 de la tarde, 5 de la tarde, 10 de la mañana, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Remember, 2 questions. ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? Second question. ¿A qué hora es la clase? ¿A qué hora es el concierto? ¿A qué hora es el programa? ¿Sí? At what time is it? And then, what time is it now? ¿Sí? Bien. And remember how to answer them. To answer what time is it? Son las 2 de la tarde, es la 1 de la tarde, etc. And then if I'm talking about the time in which an activity takes place, then you mention the activity first. La clase de español es, and then the verb es, and then answer. A las 5 de la tarde. If you are wondering how to put things together in Spanish when you are replying, usually you are going to mention the thing, ¿verdad? A noun, un sustantivo. And immediately you will have a verb, okay? A conjugated verb, okay? Por ejemplo, la chica, noun. La chica es Ana. And you have the sustantivo, and then you have the verb, and then you have something else. That's basically how to create a main sentence, a simple sentence in Spanish. Of course, there are some exceptions, and we have seen already one, which is the answer to what time is it, okay? Es la 1, son las 3 de la tarde, okay? So that's basically the exception. And I think that's all for now. If you have any questions, you can email me. Remember my office hours, Tuesdays from 8 to 11. The link, it's already posted under faculty information. Email me before, so I have an idea who is going to be with me, and that's all, guys. Okay, remember, you have to read the explanations several times. Go to Vista, okay, go to Vista and watch the tutorials several times, then close everything and try to do some activities, so all that information get into your long-term memory. ¿Sí? Bien, hasta luego entonces, chao, cuídense.